when you were a young lad and go to your friends' houses to play guitar after school, what was the first song you mastered? Well, Kate will attest that I still haven't mastered any songs. And I'm surprised you guys have not noticed that yet. But I remember jamming Neil Young songs the most because they were really open and simple and great for improvisation. So I would have to say it was a Neil Young song, even though I can't think of which one it was, because I played a bunch of them. We used to jam a bunch of Neil Young songs. And that's about it. So thank you for those questions. Wendy, anything else?
No, I think there's quite others, but they're filler questions. Kate probably put them on a different email. So
Okay, well,
fill-ins after everybody else asks.
Yeah, when everyone's done, if we have time, I'd love to answer them. Kate, who would you like next? Tim?
The next one we've got is actually Tim Crowley. Now, he's not here, but he did say he'd like his question answered.
Okay.
And his was, can you speak of something that Paul Raymond and Neil Carter bring to the band that is unique to each of them?
Yes, definitely. As everyone knows, I stand right next to Neil. I stood right next to, on stage, and I stood right next to Paul. So the thing I can definitely say is the most different about them is hair. and it would be hard to argue with that. Paul had the hair of a 19-year-old, and there was a moment in time where Vinny and I kind of gave him a run for his money, but we just could not hang. His hair was too perfect, and it was so perfect that some people thought it was a wig, but he had the hair of a 19-year-old. But on a more serious note, I think what Tim was it Tim?
Yeah, Tim Crowley.
What Tim Crowley was asking is, what's the difference between them musically? And Neil and Paul are both incredible musicians and multi-instrumentalists. It's really hard to, compare. But I would say that Paul was more of a keyboard player and Neil is more of a guitar player. Even though Neil plays keyboard fantastically and Paul played guitar very well, I would say that at the heart of it, that's just my opinion standing next to them on stage. And they may disagree, or someone else may disagree, but that's what I felt.
The next questions that came up were from Yana and Pirio, which are they've been sitting really quietly.
Long time no see.
Long time no see. Thank you for your patience. Beautiful shirts you have on.
We both have.
Yeah, Spread Eagle is my other band. For those that don't know, it's a band I've been in for 30 years that I co-formed, and we put a record out called Subway to the Stars recently. And it's
Great
our,
album.
that's our, thank you, Matt. It's our third album that we recently released. So,
It's a great album.
Okay, thank you.
I have a pile of questions.
Oh, that's fine. How are we doing?
That's fine.
Kate? We moving along quick enough, Kate?
Oh, yeah, fine.
Okay.
Carry on.
Right.
About Spread Eagle, are you all writing stuff to the new Spread Eagle album? And how much stuff do you already have?
Okay, let's start with that one. Yes, my drummer, Rick Luca, and I have gotten together and we started working on some new songs from the bottom up, meaning bass and drums is usually the foundation. So we worked the songs from our Subway to the Stars album up that way, and we're going to continue to do it the same way, because the album actually got the best reviews of our career, which we were very surprised and happy with. So we don't want to like ruin the formula if it's working. So we started writing and working new songs up at his studio, Blood Orange Sound. And we have a bunch of ideas with music and lyrics. Of course, everything will change as the other members add their parts and all that. And they add songs. Everyone will write on the album, so then we'll also be working on other members' songs. So yeah, it's going great. We have a lot of ideas, and it's going to be a killer record. And with COVID, what is there to do? So write music, write new music. Anyone that's not writing, anyone that doesn't release one of the best albums of their career, in the near future, on their next album, there's no excuse for that, because everyone's just sitting at home, So I would think everyone's going to come out with their masterpiece next. So,
hopefully. Are you going to produce it also this time?
Yes, I produced the last one. I will produce this one also, yes.
Okay. When can I buy it?
As soon as it's available, I will certainly let everyone know via the internet that I will actually, before it's available, we'll have pre-orders and things like that. And we truly appreciate your enthusiasm. Thank you. It's great when you make something that connects with people, like that's what everyone's trying to do, have some kind of connection, artistic, musical connection, or even, some kind of human connection, and music does that. It kind of cuts into people's souls very quickly, and everyone has their different cultures or different opinions politically, and music kind of goes right through that, right past all that very quickly. And it's a very important medium just between humans, the fact that it can cut through that quickly, like language can't do that, and so many things can't do that. So it's great. Music is important. So.
And Jana also had a question about UFO's tour coming up next year. Yeah.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about the last tour and hopefully next year? What are the thoughts? What are your best memories working with UFO?
Okay, well, I'm going to start with the touring, and well, obviously, all our touring is canceled for 2020. No,
21.
Postponed. For 2020, it's postponed and moved to 2021. So that's a drag, but it's best to be healthy and to not let anyone in our audience infect each other or us infect anyone else. So and as far as it being our last orders, possibly final tour, that's very bittersweet, and that decision is Phil's, and he has the right, after carrying the torch for 50, maybe 51, Kate, 51 years?
Yeah.
51 years. I was going to say 50. He absolutely has the right to do whatever he wants with UFO, and we respect that tremendously. Just the fact that he carried that torch for that long, that's quite a feat. So if he continued, I would love it if he decided to continue. I love UFO, and I love touring, and I love playing music. So if he decides to continue, I will be, all for it and very happy. But if he doesn't, I respect that. And it's good that we're going to South America in 2021 and places, if you're going to do a last orders tour, you need to hit every market, and I hope we get to Finland also. It would be right to do every place that we've played, every place that will book us at least once for a proper farewell tour. So, and we have a lot of shows booked for next year, 21, that are on the website, and I'm sure there'll be more. So, and your next question, Piero?
What are your best memories working with UFO?
Well, there's too many to that would be a whole show. But I will say that we had a tour manager named Tonio Neuhaus, a German tour manager who really just, I just could not find one bad thing to say about him. If I sat here and thought about it for 10, 15 minutes, I don't think I could find one bad thing to say about him, and he passed away from lung cancer. What year was that, Kate?
2016, August 2016.
That he passed away that long ago?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because the last tour we did with him was the Judas Priest tour at the end of 2015. And I think he was diagnosed in the late June, early July, and he died late August. It was that quick.
It was quick.
But I'm with you, there isn't a day goes by without I don't have a lovely memory of Tonio.
Yeah, I think about him a lot. Like it's profound, the impact he had on us, just because he was easily one of the top 2 or 3 tour managers I've ever worked with in my life, and I've worked with many, easily 20 or more, and he was one of the best. But in addition to that, he was just such a great guy, and I miss him. So I have a lot of fond memories with him, with UFO.
What have you learned working with UFO?
Oh my God, that could be another whole show. Make sure you stay away from Kate's wine bottle.
Oh yeah.
That was a joke.
Yes.
No, but seriously, stay in good with Kate. That's serious, or you'll have problems. Kate's like our dem mom, so you have to earn her trust. But I would say, everything related to my craft of being a touring bassist, I've learned in all the bands I'm in, including UFO, but develop, it's been 12 years with UFO, so developing it further, meaning like, how to be more professional, how to get along with people better, how to play UFO songs better, because as time went by, I did feel like I was, getting better and better on their songs, just of the essence of what it is to be in UFO. And as time goes by, you understand that more and more with every year. I don't think I play any different notes than I played in the beginning.
You play them in the right order now, though.
But now I play them in the right order. But it's just, there is an essence to being in UFO that Phil and the guys created, and Andy, and you learn that more every year. But how to have fun with it, how to not get upset, how to show up on stage, how to understand that the gig is the most important thing of the day, and nothing else is more important than that. So make sure you put everything else behind you when you hit the stage. How to treat fans, when you're having a really horrible day. Like all these things, I learn every year a little more and more. How to write for a band, how to present songs to a band, how to arrange their songs that they present to you. Like every year I learn more and more. It's never ending, just the craft of being a touring bassist. Every year I learn a little more by touring with UFO. And it's a cool journey, like I'm sure the first couple of years I would have thought, like, I know this gig, and it's humbling to know that this long into it that I'm still learning. and you can never know it, everything. So.
Did you have some more?
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks everyone for your patience. Also, so go ahead, Piero.
Yeah, music in general. What are your music influencers, drivers? And has those drivers changed during your career?
Well, I mentioned most of those bands in the beginning of the interview or the chat.
But
So
the
it's a lot of,
why do you make music? What is the driver?
I think it's deep down a need for a connection to create something that is hopefully, I'm talking about writing now, that hopefully people can relate to, and it speaks to them or inspires them. I think, even though I'm not saying I've ever done that, I think it's a great driver, like you said, or a goal to create something that resonates with a very large amount of people. And that isn't about like being a pop star or being rich. It's about, but it is about an amount of people, like a large amount of people, because it would, I think many humans would like to, you know, touch that many people and connect with them. So with songwriting, that's I don't think of that when I'm writing, but I think if I get to the core of why I've done it since I was a kid and continue to do it and will always do it and enjoy it, I think that's a big part of it. Also, writing songs is like a puzzle because if there's always something that you didn't expect to happen, you know, and a lot of things happen by mistake or by chance. Of course, you can have like verse, chorus, bridge, out chorus, which is a formula. And sometimes certain bands can make music that might be formulatic. But I think even within that formula, you're connecting melodies and lyrics and rhythms, and unexpected things always happen, or there's problems to how to connect them in this, you know, this sequence. So I always thought that's really interesting, because unless you write really standard, you know, generic, there's a lot of problem solving in songwriting, I think, in my experience. So songwriting, I think, is a driver, and seeing the world as a driver.
Do you write after a good day or after a bad day?
I write regardless. I write regardless. I mean, you will have different types of creations depending on your mood, and it's nice to have, you know, beautiful things and nasty things and aggressive things and lovely things, and you know, so if you know, if you want to be if you want to have a lot of range, you should have a lot of emotions going into it, you know, because your emotions obviously are going to affect what comes out.
Yeah.